In a time after colonization or oppression, when people have been harmed mentally and physically, what can we do to regain a sense of pride in ourselves and in our community? Art in all forms can be a unifying force for embracing humanity when outside influences have attempted to dehumanize people and to destroy ideas that become a foundation for empowerment and pride. This video is a dedication to the human spirit and the ways that people use the horrors of the past to empower people in the present through art, and to force them to never forget rituals and ideologies that make people powerful and significant. Turning first to post-colonial Africa, the need for art and other symbolism to help people regain a sense of identity was crucial to remind people of past oppression and how to move forward to being both physically and mentally free from colonizers. Art like that of Congolese artist Trigo Pula was important to depict the decline of ritual and how colonizers served to brainwash Africans from remembering the past. This painting, and the power that Western powers had on destroying ritual, becomes a stark reminder of how past oppression needs to always be in the mind rather than Western images. This sculpture from Nigerian artist Yinka Shonabare, depicting the ship of British Admiral Horatio Nelson being locked in a bottle, shows how the past needs to be locked away to where it can cause no harm and can never be heard by anyone ever again. This becomes a powerful image of how the colonized can begin to have power over colonizers. Music can also be seen as art, as in the work of famed Nigerian artist Fela Kuti, who used his music to perpetuate a sense of African identity and to revolt against post-colonial governments who did not care about the state of Nigerians. Through his music and the art of Lemi Garioku, who painted almost all of Fela Kuti's album covers, Fela attempted to influence people in a positive way by making music that embraces Africa and its people.
Stop this one. Whether you understand or you don't understand. When you see one whoop, yash, you want to bury your prick inside. You say, hey baby, show me your particulars. If you want to speak articulate English, the talk say, hey darling, show me your living license. Yes, now wonderful material.
Intersecting with post-colonialism is a struggle for the rights of LGBTQI people in Africa. The warped ideas that LGBTQI people limit the potential for unity in Africa has caused the rape and murder of countless number of people for no reason at all. Zanele Muholi, an artist and activist from South Africa, brings to light this oppression with heartfelt photography that shows the emotional aftermath of violence and how it goes against the nature of humanity. These photos show the heartache and anger of people that are treated as subhuman and attempts to change attitudes. The photos also depict the human realities of prejudice and how these prejudices need to end for Africa to become unified. The key to bringing this oppression to light is explained by Muholi herself.
We live in fear. Death happened to bind us. Hate crimes have become a binding factor for the LGBTI communities. We come together to either give support or to confirm that somebody has been killed. Then that person becomes a statistic. Another case number becomes part of our history. And what are we doing about it? Do we always go and attend funerals, and then after funerals you go home, you wait for another funeral? Why? You have to document. You are forced to document.
Another example of using art to redefine identity and create empowerment can be seen in the creation of the Afro-Cobra movement in Chicago in 1968 as a protest against racial injustice in the United States. This art, like the work of Zanelli Maholi, attempted to foster unity within divisiveness to allow for people to become empowered and unified. In using art in a way that was both relevant and embracing to ideologies, art became a way for people to create a philosophy of openness and discussion to find ways to fight against oppression. By starting the movement with the creation of the Wall of Respect, the community became galvanized behind a cause.
The Wall of Respect was based on actually honoring our, what we would call heroes, sheroes.
We felt like we should be doing something other than making these paintings of horse races and bar scenes like I was doing. We should be doing something significant.
People were being pushed, people were being abused, knocked down, the hoses, the police, etc. The artists were feeling that, but they weren't going to go down there and get shot. So they said, well, what is it that we can do that will influence our people?
Then we started painting.
When I was out there, and every day I felt like that was all that was going on, because you had the artist working, the community reacting to what was being done.
That imagery in the Wall of Respect might have been the first time people had really seen something positive.
Within this was the ability to build upon the wall to develop a political ideology that openly rebelled against the established norms of art and society.
So we had started talking about making an artist movement, like moving towards a school of thought.
You know, we cared about what we were developing, and we were excited about it.
And we set out to establish a set of principles that we will work with.
Create a black aesthetic and a school of thought.
And tried to promote a certain agenda that had a political aspect as well as an aesthetic one. And that was Afro-Cobra.
The African commune of bad, relevant artists. It's
like
all
a
in
slang.
there. Right.
You know, he's bad.
Right.
You know.
So bad was, it's the double entendre, you know. We take it and flip it.
Probably the only really pro-black group that was not reactionary, and we were proficient artists on top of that.
There's nothing apolitical about art. Even when you try to be apolitical, you're being political. But it is political in that it touches the lives of other people. And it doesn't come alive until another person, the significant other, responds to it.
Also, the creation of art was more than just pleasing to the eye, but it was a very important method of changing the attitudes of black people to embrace who they are rather than an image of who they are thought to be through the eyes of those in power.
This piece, you know, is one of those, I think, signature for me, signature hallmark Afro-Cobra pieces in a number of ways, because it fully encapsulates the aspect of positive imagery, the choice of who that image is, what that image actually means to not us as a group, but to us as a people.
The use of Kool-Aid colors, the raspberry, the orange, the grape. It deals with the lettering, not only in terms of a message, but also in terms of design and pattern.
In the present, it is more important than ever that we remember the past so that we can build on it and vow to never repeat it. With a 21st century mindset, conceptual artist Hank Willis Thomas uses his art to illuminate the past, literally and figuratively, to not only depict past events, but to put them in the context of a 2018 America, where prejudice against people of color still exists. On an aesthetic level, Willis uses art as a metaphor to bring issues to light. When you first look at one of his paintings, only part of the image is visible. Only when the painting is illuminated by flash photography is the whole image brought to light, and the entire context of the painting is shown. This illumination becomes a very strong metaphor for how racial issues stewing under the surface are brought to light based on an openness and moving forward from past ideologies. Thomas himself talks about this unpacking and the power of bringing things to light.
What I'm interested in as an artist is trying to bring some of those things that we've kind of packed away back out for us to discuss. I'm fascinated with how our history and our understanding of the world actually shifts. So I think of history as a moving target. This is a daguerreotype button, and there were some long-standing questions about whether or not it was an abolitionist pen, and that there appeared to be a white hand and a black hand holding a Bible. Now, we believe that it was the same two hands, and we're unsure as to whether or not it's holding a Bible. That's really fascinating to me because I made a replica inspired by the original definition.
His art is also a reminder that we are more alike than different. Like in the following photo, when people of all races unite for women's rights and the fight for the Equal Rights Amendment. It can also be seen in this photo, which shows that no matter what color our skin is, we are all Americans first. In order to counteract oppression, a unified and honest voice is necessary. Art can become a way to develop an emotional attachment to past events so that they can be a source of empowerment for people who had no power. In doing so, it creates the potential for discussion that never existed and to make sure that the past is never repeated.